Are the 2 or 3 free practice tests on the official website really enough to get you into Oxford Law? The short answer is almost certainly no. Oxford is brutally competitive, and you need a massive test bank to clear their score filter. The official LNAT consortium provides only a very limited number of free preparation resources. Usually this is just 2 or 3 full-length LNAT practice papers. They are an essential starting point, but they will not build an elite score on their own. Oxford's degree in jurisprudence is one of the most competitive undergraduate law courses in the world. The applicant pool is saturated with students holding flawless predicted grades, so the LNAT acts as a brutal, primary filter for interviews. To understand what you are up against, look at the Oxford benchmark. The average applicant scores around the national average, which sits in the low 20s out of 42. But the average interviewer usually scores much higher, in the high 20s. Check Oxford's website for the latest figures. And it gets tougher. The average offer holder often scores higher still. Bridging the gap between a respectable low 20s result and an Oxford tier score in the high 20s is exceptionally difficult. You must eliminate unforced errors and master your time management. So why are the free official tests not enough? The biggest reason is volume. Section A tests logical reasoning and reading comprehension with 42 multiple choice questions, and the wrong answers are not random. They follow specific, repeatable patterns. Wrong answers often rely on subtle shifts in degree or on extreme qualifiers. Some are even true in the real world, but they are simply not supported by the passage. You cannot learn to spot these patterns from just 2 or 3 tests. You need high volume to hardwire this pattern recognition. Without repeated exposure across dozens of passages, you will lack the speed to identify trick answers under the pressure of a 95-minute timer. The second problem with free tests is the lack of detailed explanations. The official tests give you the correct answers, but they rarely break down the underlying logic. Knowing you got a question wrong does not stop you repeating the same mistake tomorrow. Genuine score improvement requires deeply granular explanations. You need to map the logical path from the text to the correct proposition. A massive test bank gives you that detailed feedback for every single question you attempt. The third limitation is a false sense of stamina. Taking a single free test on a Sunday afternoon is nothing like the real exam. The LNAT demands intense focus for 2 hours and 15 minutes without a break. Relying on a tiny sample leaves you unprepared for the mental exhaustion that hits around the 60-minute mark. If you want to study at Oxford, that is a vulnerability you simply cannot afford. Physical books are also a poor substitute. They cannot replicate the on-screen Pearson interface, the inability to highlight text, or the relentless digital timer. To truly prepare, you must practice on a screen, running time simulations day after day. Because top schools filter hard on your score, you need to be hitting your target average weeks before the deadline. Sustained mock practice makes your progress measurable, and that requires a resource that scales with your whole timeline. Do not forget Section B. Oxford uniquely scrutinises the essay. Some universities ignore it entirely, but Oxford tutors read yours closely to evaluate whether you can construct a reasoned, persuasive argument under pressure. The free resources offer only a handful of past essay prompts. To excel, you need exposure to a wide variety of topics, from jurisprudence and ethics to economics and politics, plus a clear picture of what a top-tier essay actually looks like. Wondering whether Oxford tutors can tell you use paid prep materials? The answer is no. The admissions process is entirely blind to how you prepared. They only ever see your final score and your written essay. Even if you have just 2 weeks left, an intensive cram using a massive digital test bank is vastly superior to rereading 2 or 3 free official papers. Running daily mocks will sharpen your skills far faster than a tiny sample size. This is exactly where LawMint comes in. We offer the most comprehensive LNAT resource anywhere, with a free full-length LNAT practice test to get you started, plus the full series of 200 full-length tests. You get 200 full-length tests featuring 8,400 multiple-choice questions, each with a detailed explanation. Head to lawmint.uk and subscribe to @LNAT Prep on YouTube for more.